Cold water immersion and showers seem to be pretty popular. And I just want to share a study from a mad Irish buddy of mine called Paul Taylor. Paul Taylor wrote a book called Death by Comfort, and this was out of his book. And you should probably read that so that you don't die by comfort. Um, so, cold water immersion is not a new thing. It's been going on for a couple of 100 years. It's something I play around with myself a little bit here. And yeah, certainly in the European countries, particularly Netherlands, it's been pretty popular. And this is where this study comes from. So this is a study that was done in 2016, and they looked at cold showering on health and work. It was a randomized control study, which is one of the better types of studies. And the cool thing was is they had over 3,000 participants in this one, so it's a pretty big one. What they did was they divided those 3,000 people into four different groups. So they started off with hot showers. Everyone had hot showers. The control group just had hot showers. They continued to do that. The other groups had hot showers, then 30 seconds of cold, 60 seconds of cold, or 90 seconds of cold. And they did that for 30 days. Now, after that, there was another follow-up period of another 60 days, but they could choose what temperature they had their showers on after that. Now, a couple of problems here and a couple of things to think about is cold water over in the Netherlands is pretty cold, actually. Cold shower there is about 10 to 12 degrees. So the cold water there is pretty cold. Where I am, cold water ain't that cold. So if you're in a cold environment, in winter in the southern hemisphere, that's probably about the water temperature what you're experiencing. So it's probably legit for the cold showering there. One of the concerns too was a dropout there. Although they had 3,000 participants, 20% just fell out of the study. So that's a little bit of worry, but there's still some big numbers there. So they got some reasonable data. The idea was to not just have these cold showers, but look at the effect that it had. So on days off work, days of illness. Now, these were all self-reported, but that's okay. And quality of life and work productivity and anxiety. So all the stuff self-reported because you can't sit in the shower with people to check they're doing it. So they all had timers and given timers, and they self-reported that they were doing their showers. And also they reported their days off work and the days they felt ill. That was what those two main measures were about there. So the results of this one here were pretty kind of fun. I'll just move myself out of the way here. There you go. So in terms of self-reported days off work, it was about a 30% decrease in reported absenteeism. So if you're running a work health program, if you came in with those sort of figures, you would be pretty damn popular. That's a pretty awesome reduction in days off work. And from a business point of view, that would be very, very worthwhile. In terms of decreased, now all of the cold showers improved the days off work, so they're all useful. But what they found is 60 seconds of cold showering was really the sweet spot to look at decreased days of reported illness. So people didn't feel unwell when they had 60 seconds of cold showering there. Okay, so let's talk a bit more about what happened after this. So remember, the first 30 days, they were assigned to a group, but after that, they could decide what they want to do. So 90% said they want to continue doing the cold showers, but 64% continue to do that. But I still think that's pretty good, that 64% of the people continued to carry on with that habit of having cold showers. So they obviously thought there's some benefits in there. When they looked at the other things that influenced the health of these workers there, they looked at physical activity. And physical activity has a bigger effect than cold showers. So it's not surprising. I think the benefits of physical activity on the immune system are pretty well documented. But however, the cold showers aren't. So the cool thing is now you've got two things that you can bounce together to improve your immune system. The bonus is too is there really weren't any serious adverse effects from cold showering that were reported. There are a few people saying they had cold hands and feet, but hard enough. One person had a heart attack, but that wasn't anything to do with the cold showers, I reckon. So the idea is, hey, it's probably worth doing exercise and having a cold shower, because if you add those two together, you get about a 50% reduction in sickness absence. So if you wanted to be well for work, particularly if you own your own business, man, take a cold shower for 60 seconds and do exercise. It's kind of that simple, really. One of the things that people said was that what they liked about having the showers in terms of perceived energy levels is they really felt they got a boost, like a caffeine shot. So they felt it was quite beneficial. Um, the I guess some of the other things that were kind of useful is, or thinking about why these effects worked, is one of the things that people often say with this going cold, that it's a hormonal effect. It probably wasn't, because what they found were there were some really big physiological responses in 30 seconds. So it's probably a neurological, so it's a nervous system that probably gets affected by those cold showers, but seems to have a very positive effect on the immune system, and potentially on your perceived energy levels as well. So now, I guess one of the champions of this whole cold immersion thing is Wim Hof, who's from the Netherlands, and he was actually involved in the study as well. So looks like Wim might be onto something. So yeah, go take a cold shower would be my advice there.